Hey guys, Cam for 15. Join my mic joined. I'm by myself. Look, y'all. Dude, if you haven't seen the episode yet, please go to High Dive and watch. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Watch Sword of the Demon Hunter. Dude, my goodness, man. My goodness. When I'm telling you, man, this first episode, man, it shocked me with how they started, with how they ended this. I'm just like, bro, am I watching Oshinoko again? Because that was like the last time I watched like an hour-long episode, and that was something to me brand new. That legitimately, I'm just like, my jaws dropped, and I'm just like, why? And dog, look, you need to go check this out. I highly request people check this show out and watch this show. I don't know what was going to happen for the future of this show, because at the end of the episode, we cut to Jinta going to this shrine 170 years later. And I don't know what we're going to happen. I guess we're going to get flashbacks across his journey. Maybe he talks to this shrine maiden or something. I don't know what's going to happen. But it's absolutely crazy what the hell is going on. And this episode, man, when I tell you, man, if I could not hold my mic and give standing applause, this is one of these episodes that you give a damn standing applause. These are the type of episodes in anime when you're coming in and introducing for a new season of anime on terms of what you want to watch, and maybe it's a show that you don't think that is going to be good and might be a generic show or something like that, but then you see that first episode and you come out of that first episode legitimately jaw dropped on the floor, shocked. You don't know where the story's going, but you're intrigued with where it's going to go. Man, that's when you have an anime, a good keeper. Dude, this episode made me feel all sorts of emotions by the time I got to the end of the episode, man. Dude, this show kind of got me, this part kind of gave me Demon Slayer vibes, I ain't gonna lie. Not because there's actual demons in the show, but it's just, I'm like, okay, are we gonna do like an ancient thing where this man's gonna have to take out these demons to keep his, I guess you can say, his stepsister slash friend slash lover or love interest, alive, because these demons are maybe going to come after her, and his job duty is to protect her, only to then see that by the end of it, she ends up fucking dying. And honestly, when I first saw her, I'm just like, I really hope she does not die, because I really genuinely like her character. And then, of course, she ends up fucking dying. And I'm just like, what the hell? I'll talk about that in a second, but when you start the story with Jinta basically walking with his younger sister, Suzune, who we find out in the early parts of the episode, she's a demon. Like, she has the one half of her eye is like human, the other half of her is red, has the red demon eye. And he basically goes out with her and he's like, you know what, let's go. Let's go together. And he doesn't abandon her, and they end up getting picked up by this middle-aged dude, who then that's when they end up meeting Suzune, who, the old dude takes him in to his family and everything. So Suzune is kind of like their adoptive sister or their stepsister, right? But it's clear the more you see in their flashbacks as children, you can clearly tell, like, okay, Jinta and Suzune, or not Suzune, Shirayuki, Shirayuki have a thing clearly, and it's clear that they're into each other and they like each other, and she likes him, he likes her. And then you cut a few years down the road to where they're adults. She's basically this princess now, and he's basically her protector, and basically you just have this whole story unfold to the point you get to the climax of this episode, this hour-long episode, and you see everything just go completely from great to shit. Absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. I'm just blown away just by like what the hell happened in that last final act of this episode, man. And the build up to it, because when I saw it, I'm like, okay, I'm like, the episode's 1 hour long. Like something's gonna happen at the end of this, right? And I was hoping for the worst. I'm like, I hope that means like Shiryuki's not dying. But she ended up dying. But you just kind of see like how he has this connection with his younger sister, Suzune, and Shiryuki, and you see like he did all this training. And now he's basically a protector and everything. And I did, and the thing that sucks is, you see the relationship between Jinta and and Shiryuki. And how close they are, and it's clear, like, they both care about each other to the point, like, no, they actually like genuinely like are in love with each other, right? Um, and you just see and you see that, right? And because she comes out like early in the episode and everything to talk to him, and he's like, princess, and she's just like, come on, Jinta, stop calling me by these official names. Call me by my actual name. We're alone. You got the A-OK to call me by my real name. And he's like, Suzune, okay. And you can clearly tell, like, okay, she's like legitimately into our boy. And I'm just like, okay, I guess in the story is like these demons are gonna probably attack this village. They're gonna try to kill her for a purpose and everything. And Jinta's got is essentially her protector, and he's got to keep her safe. I'm thinking that's where the story is going to go and everything. Yeah, no, that doesn't have where it goes. Later in the middle part of the episode, she ends up like Shiryuki ends up getting away from doing the princess stuff. She gets approval to basically be a regular girl for once. She shows by the house, and you have this nice moment between her, Suzune, and Jinta, and it's kind of like a nice little family dynamic and everything. And Jinta's being the adorable little sister that's, getting on her brother's nerves and everything, and messing around with Shiryuki, saying like, yeah, my brother is just like that, right? And everything, and they're just laughing. And that was another shocker too. Like, she didn't age. She stayed a younger girl. I'm like, okay, now must be her demon abilities, because we know demons can live for long lives, so maybe she doesn't age as much, right? Well, we later find out at the end of the episode, she basically held off aging herself for these two, right? But you just have this nice moment, and then he ends up kind of going on like basically a date with Shiryuki and everything, and you can clearly tell, like, okay, she's really liking being around him. Like, there's one part in the episode, like, legitimately everybody's in the village is like, is that Jinta with a hot ass girl? Who the hell is that? Jinta in the lead? And then, like, you clearly see them talking, and she like wraps her arm all happy and everything. I'm just like, bro, this is so adorable. This is so nice and everything. And then you have this nice little like restaurant girl who's giving them like these dongos and everything. I don't know if she had feelings for Jinta. I'm guessing it's implied that she must have, right? She gives these things, and then you have this like one-on-one conversation between Shiryuki and Jinta, and basically it's kind of this whole thing. I was like, oh, is this gonna be the moment where she's gonna say, you don't need to hold back anymore. Look, I love you. I don't give a damn about me being a princess and you being my protector. I love you for who you are. And we kind of get something like that, right? She does confirm to him, like, she loves Jinta. Like, she's in love with Jinta. And this dates back to when they were younger. She talked about, because she ends up explaining this conversation, how even though she loves Jinta, she said she's going to marry this other dude, right? She was told she was going to marry this other dude, and it's basically for, obviously, reasons and political reasons and things like that, because we saw early in the episode this old guy talked with her, and the old guy basically find out that it was the dude's son, and he wanted him to marry Shiryuki, but it was for political reasons and everything. And basically Shiryuki was kind of just like, look, I understand that you love me and you care about me and everything, and and she legitimately like says, like, I'm willing to run away with you and we can go live together and start a family and be together, essentially, right? But I know, you wouldn't do that, right? And he literally confirms, he's like, yeah, that would just go against everything I worked my ass off to get to now. Like, I'm just your protector or anything, which, I'm just like, damn it, man. I'm like, Ninja. See, if this is me, I'm like, man, if you know you love a girl, you go after that girl. You don't give a damn about, the shit that is in the way. If you love somebody, you'll do whatever it takes to freaking do that. Even if you know what I'm doing is wrong, but I'm gonna go pursue this. But, I feel like it was kind of a miscommunication type of thing where I feel like it's clear that because we later see in the end of the episode, like the old guy talks to Jinta before he ends up leaving the village, right? Saying how he apologizes that it was only his own selfish desires to basically force Shiryuki to marry, and if he probably didn't do that, then she'd probably still be alive, and then like nothing like this would have ever happened, right? Which is also kind of a miscommunication. I feel like maybe the princess could have like legitimately like just said like maybe told the old guy, like, look, with all due respect, I'm sorry, but I can't go through with that. I'm in love with Jinta, and he's the one for me. But she felt like this was her destiny to do this, and she basically worked herself to become this, because we see in the flashback, like, she wanted to have this title, she wanted to do this, and Jinta basically told her and made a promise to her, essentially saying, like, well, I'm gonna do whatever I can to work my ass off to be your protector, and I'll stand by your side again. And they're holding hands when they're kids, and you can clearly tell she's happy to hear that and everything, because she's like, and everything. And you just have this moment, where they basically know, and they basically kind of both admit, like, we love, I love you, you love me, blah, 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 but we know because these political reasons and I'm going to be married to somebody else, we can't have this happening. And I'm just like, no, 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 no. That was one of the things where I'm like, damn it, he's going to have to protect her, even though knowing damn well she's gonna be married to somebody. And I was thinking, okay, maybe that's gonna happen, they're gonna have the wedding and everything, she's gonna be married to this dude, but then eventually he's still gonna be her protector, right? But eventually the dude's probably gonna get killed, and he's gonna have to protect her 100%. And then that's when he's there, probably by the end of the show, he's gonna be like actually married to her, and he's gonna get what he wants. Happy ending, right? Well, now, so he gets reported to go take out this demon that's in the area, and it's this big muscular demon, right? And that fight was pretty crazy. Like, this dude literally like blows Jinta's arm off with ease, and I'm like, oh shit. And then eventually the evil demon, basically gives him a hint of saying, like, well, hey, the demon, the true demon right then and there is like legitimately like here and everything, and she's here in this village, and she's gonna fulfill the prophecy or whatever. And Jinta knows he's talking about Suzune, and basically the demon's detached arm that Jinta cut off, right? It starts to like grab on his face, and he basically is like, well, what's the purpose of why you carry or wield your sword, essentially. Jinta ends up waking up, and we find out like later in the episode he's actually got demon abilities. So and the demon said he has like a simulation powers, right, on his arm, right? So he's got that ability now. But you have it, as this was going on, you have this other demon lady who was working with this other demon dude. She finds Suzune, and basically shows Suzune, the future, because she has foresight, and she shows Suzune the future, and she's like, oh, I can tell you really care about your brother, Jinta and everything. And she's like, yeah, my brother's my everything, I love him so much and everything. And then the demon lady basically shows her this foresight of Shiryuki basically looking like she's about to start having sex with basically her soon-to-be fiance. And I also like the tidbit before Jinta ended up leaving to go take out the demon. The fiance to Shiryuki, the guy who she was married, he kind of was also in a disagreement of essentially this whole thing happening. He basically pressed him like, what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to marry her, and you got no problem with this. I know you love her, so don't hide this from me. And Jinta's like, Yeah, I know, and I'm okay with it. And the dude is like, what the fuck? Like, at least it seemed like the dude was actually like, even though later on he tried to force himself upon her, but then he kind of just got away and it was just like, whatever, fine, I'm done with this, and everything. But then she kind of, Shiryuki's like, no, we have to do this. We got to consent to do this, right? And everything. And, the demon shows Suzune basically a foresight of basically her about to get down and dirty. She takes off the robe and everything. Like, she was about to do it with this guy, right? And, Suzune's all shocked. She's like, what the hell was that? And basically the demon's like, I can show you. And everything kind of similarly plays out and everything, right? And basically you just have it where Suzune is just like, why, what did you do? Why are you doing this? I thought you loved Jinta. Why are you trying to sleep with another man? When I know you're in love with Jinta. And she literally says, like, I stayed this way because I wanted you two to be together. Like, I literally, and I guess it's implied, like, Suzune actually had feelings for Jinta too. And she basically kept herself as a kid age because she knew she sacrificed, basically in a weird way, her own personal love for Jinta. So then, because she knew, hey, you know, my adoptive sister is in love with Jinta. I want to see that relationship happen. Actually, I want them to be together, and I'll be there to support them to do it, right? And to see that all happen, and she sees that, she's just completely heartbroken. And as much as Suzune is trying to say, like, calm down, don't listen to that demon, or Shiryuki, Suzune's not listening, and she just transforms into her older self, right? And you get to the point where I'm like, hurry, Jinta, hurry before she kills him or kills her. And Jinta does get there in time and everything. And Shiryuki sees Jinta. She's like, Jinta. And I'm just like, yes, he got there. He's going to protect her from Suzune and he's going to do something, right? And I'm thinking, like, okay, it's probably going to be the whole thing of, like, Suzune's going to continuously try to go after Shiryuki to try to kill her because of everything. But Jinta's going to be there to protect her and he's going to reluctantly have to kill his sister that he's known. And then you see that moment where Shiryuki runs up to him and gets into his arms and everything. And I'm like, yes, 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 yes. And then you hear that. And then you see the head roll, blood spurting out of her freaking head. And I legitimately dropped, my jaw dropped. I'm like, no. I was like, no. And Shiryuki's fucking dead, bro. And when it makes the matters worse when you have freaking Suzune, who's all crazy and everything, literally holding Suzune's or Shiryuki's head and just saying, "I killed the bitch. I killed the whore. Aren't you happy, brother?" You know, and I'm just like, I love this adorable little girl, and now we gotta kill her, bro. And essentially gets to the point where Jinta basically almost does kill her, but that other demon lady gets in protection. She's like, "Go, get out of here." And basically, Susan is like, "Now I know how you truly feel, brother, right?" And she leaves, right? So the next day happens. Jinta is basically preparing to leave the village. He talks to the old man. That's when the old man basically talks how he blames himself for what happened if he didn't try to force Shiryuki to get married to his son, then maybe none of this would have happened. And he said he knew that Shiryuki and Jinta clearly were both in love with each other. That that's the stupid thing. And I'm just like, man, this was easily preventable. This old bastard that just didn't freaking just want his selfish desires and everything because he wanted his son to get the girl instead of knowing, hey, I know these two clearly have a thing for each other, and I think it's probably best for them to. But for his own selfish reasons, he wanted to do it, and he does apologize. But Jinta's like, it's all right. Also, another thing that was quite interesting is it's clear that he knew that his sister was a demon, and that he also knows that he was a demon too. And honestly, shockingly enough, like we've seen in like shows like Demon Slayer, like demons are hated. Like if you're a demon, you are 100% hated. Or in other shows, when it comes to like demon things in like this previous time, like Inuyasha or something like that, right? Demons are relatively hated, right? In this show, it seems like humans are like, okay, it's fine. You know, we understood your sister was a demon. We're not raising the pitchforks or anything. And even the dude says, well, I know you're a demon too. And it's great to see that you're not letting the bloodlust take over, right? And so it seems like in this show, like demons, yes, they're still hated, but they're hated on a standpoint if you're a bad demon. If you're like a bad, evil demon, you're cool. But if you're like a demon that's content, you just want to be about peace and you'll leave people and humans alone and just be like, if you treat me kind, I'll treat you kind. I'll have no issues with you. It seems like people will actually be kind towards demons, and they actually, well, in this village, clearly was okay with them. And it's like, you know what? You're not a problem. You're not hurting anybody, any crazy thing, which it's actually pretty cool to see an actual show be okay with like characters that are demons, right? And they're all completely fine. And it's like as if they know, okay, we know there's bad demons when we know there's good demons. You know, we're fine with the good demons, but the bad ones, they gotta go. They need to die. But this leads to Jinta going, are now known as Gi. He gets this new sword. Or Jinya. Yeah, I guess I'm still gonna call him Jinta. I like that name, but whatever. And he basically leaves. That one restaurant girl's like, will I ever see you again? And he's like, yeah, I'll probably come back at some point. And then you just have it to where you get a time skip where he walks up these stairs and he's talking to this shrine maiden who looks like she's wearing like actually like modernized shrine maiden outfit, like from freaking Amagami sister, right? And we find out, like, you know, the narrator basically says like 170 years has passed, which is crazy. So I don't know if like 170 years down the road, if he found his sister Susan and he dealt with her, or if he's still looking for her to basically exact his, you know, revenge on what she did to Susan. You know, it's interesting. Also, and she did keep the head, so I wonder. I'm just saying, I wonder, because we saw how we assume when he got the demon powers, his arm grew back. I'm not holding any hope, but I really damn near hope. The head is a reason. Maybe she's gonna use the head as a just example of a reasoning. At this point in time, 170 years down the road, like that head would be a complete skeleton, right? But I'm just saying, like, if somehow Susanoo kept that head preserved, I'm just saying, if Jinta's demon powers are a little bit more thing, maybe he can find a way to bring Shiryuki back to life. I don't know. I'm not guaranteeing anything. And in these type of shows, I'm not guaranteeing anything. And plus, 170 years passed. But if by the end of it, he ends up finding a way to bring Shiryuki back to life and give her a body, so she, I guess, pop the head back on, and they can live happily ever after together, because they'll both have. I feel like that thing was she would have to have demon powers. Now, how she'd be able to get that back, I don't know, and everything. Or if they're able to bring her back to life, I don't know. I'll just have to see. But I'm definitely interested to see where the show is going to go. And my goodness, what a jaw-dropping episode. That was a phenomenal episode. 10 out of 10 intro. I haven't felt this shocked by watching an anime since freaking Oshino Ko. Oshino Ko was like that last show where, you know, there's this great happy moments, and then you get all this build-up, and then you get this freaking ending where it's just absolutely like, it hits you like a fucking truck. And it just blows you, and you're just like, bruh, where's the story gonna go now? And I'm even more impressed or shocked with where is the story going to go now that we're 170 years down in the future now, right? So I'm guessing, too, we're also going to cut back to some moments in his past throughout these 170 years, you know, and everything. And he's going to, I guess, going to have this new connection with this new girl. Maybe this new Shrine Maiden is going to maybe help him with Susanoo if she's still out there. I don't know, but we'll see. We will definitely see. But, great first episode, man. When you have me dropping my jaw, especially killing, obviously, a girl that in Shiryuki that literally is waifu material, bruh. I don't know, man. That was crazy. But Yeah, I think the one shocking part of this episode is when for me, the shocking part of the episode was when she ran back into Jinta's arms, and you think everything's great, she's saved, thank God, and then you have that moment where Susan just cuts her head off right then and there instantly, and you're just like, yeah, that was me. I was at a loss for words. I'm like, and I was just like, damn it, it was too good to be true. I knew she wasn't gonna make it live out of this. Because I'm like, damn it. The moment I saw her character, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be in the future. She's gonna end up dying. She's gonna end up dying. And of course she ended up dying. And I'm just like, fuck. Again, I don't know if our boy will be able to find a way to bring her back to life. Again, Suzune, if she's still alive at this point, she did have carry Shiryuki's head, I guess, as a memento or something like that. I don't know, man, but if she's still alive, Brother Dearest is gonna have to kill his adoptive demon sister who killed basically the girl he loved more than anything. What a tragic fucking backstory, bro. What a tragic fucking backstory. But anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more demon hold on, what is this show called? Sort of the Demon Hunter content. But yeah, but anyways, I'm the guy for guys. Catch you guys, hit the subscribe button, and I'll be back with any more animes that you guys want me to check out. But till then, guys, peace.